You're listening to Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wasey.
Too much on the line, too much to give in. If you think it's over, then let's start it again. The planets align, the stars burn bright, the sun goes down, we keep going on now. Going back down, the moment is now. Don't miss out, we're never turning around. Life is young, we're out and free. If you can, try to catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. We're renegades. We're renegades.
All right, we're here with the episode 143 of Cowboy Shit. I'm Ted I'm not Ted, I'm Wasey. I'm Wasey. I was thinking about when you introduced the pod all the time, man. I'm Wasey here with Ted, who's all the way across the pond in Scotland. Teddy, this is our first like international pod.
Yeah.
I'm over here in BC and you're parking it in Scotland for the night.
Yeah, just for the night, eh?
Yeah,
Oh, that was funny.
hot start to the show. It's Monday.
That's fun. I kind of put that one on you a little short notice, but
No, it's all good. It's all good.
That's funny.
I was replaying kind of how you do it in my head, and then I'm like, I guess I'm dead now.
I'm done now. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so what is it? We left on Wednesday, May 10th. Flew over here to London. Got here on the 11th of May. Stayed up all day, stayed up because I didn't want to go to sleep and get all screwed up on the timeline. So we stayed up all day, but then by the end of the night, I think I had like a few beers and a couple old fashions. And by the end of the night, I was just like on the chair and just passed out at like 9 o'clock in the lounge downstairs at the hotel bar. But the first day we got to London and we just like wandered around and saw everything. We saw like Big Ben, we saw the big like London Eye, we saw Westminster Abbey, we saw Trafalgar Square, Buckingham Palace.
Nice.
We just like saw everything. We just walked around for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours and went to a couple pubs, and yeah, we had an unreal first day. Like somehow I did a bunch of like research before we left on what I thought was what would be a good place to be and whatnot. London, and it turns out I picked a really kick-ass spot because we were right in the middle of everything.
Nice.
Yeah, we got really lucky and had a really awesome spot. So, and I guess for those who don't know, I'm over here with Donnie Johansson, has been on the show. He was on episode 50 with us with Chad Bestplug when we talked about the top bow riders in the world. Jeff Chadwick is some man I've worked with from Wrangler for quite a while now. He's been with Wrangler. I think he said like on the trip he's been with Wrangler for like 37 years. So if you work with Wrangler, you probably work with Jeff. So, and then Jim Nevada. So Jim, we have our Cowboy Shit warehouse with Jim, and Jim is Roper Canada, former truck wagon racing driver and outrider, Calgary Stampede champion. So yeah, here with the whole crew. But yeah, we booked a really good spot that first like for the couple of days in London. Then we took the train up to
And you were walking distance to all these like landmarks in London.
We walked
yeah, because I've never been to London, so I don't know how far apart all this stuff is. So that's cool that you're able to walk to everything.
Probably walked like 10 kilometers the first day. It was pretty aggressive. And Donnie did all 10 kilometers in his cowboy boots. It was pretty
Man,
impressive.
that guy is a specimen.
All he brought on this trip was cowboy boots and golf shoes.
That just goes to show what you get when you get a nice pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah, man. Canada West boots. Winnipeg, Manitoba since 1978. Check them out.
Making miles.
We know
that's cool. So before you move on, like what did you think of London? Like what was like, you were there for a short time, but it's your first time to Europe. So
yeah,
of all the places you've been, where does it kind of rank on the list?
Oh, where would it rank? I don't know what to say there yet, Waste. There's too many people for me. That number one, that like just way too many people, tourists. Like we were there 2 days and we were all ready to get the fuck out of town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're just like, okay, let's get out of it. Let's go now. Right. And like we saw a few things. Like I'm not much of a tourist guy going like spend 7 days with a set of headphones walking around a church or a castle with like audio stuff. Like I'm not going to do that for 10 days of my life or 2 weeks of my
No
life.
thanks. Yeah.
But I did listen to like, so we went to all those places. We didn't do any official tours or nothing. We just kind of like we were on the pretty quick tour kind of thing. We didn't have time to go. You
Mhm.
were only there 2 days, right? So we're getting the exterior tour of London. Um, but yeah, we were all ready to get out of town. So then we did on Saturday, and we took the train to Edinburgh, and we loved the train. It was for like $20 more. I got us like first class tickets. So I like because I don't know, I if I can do that, sometimes it's pretty awesome. But for like
Mhm.
$20, I was like, geez,
That's a no-brainer.
yeah, there's like free food on the train and free well not free, like you pay for it, but the drinks and food was included. So they fed us like anything you could dream up. I still have chips from the train ride. Like got a bag of chips here because you
Oh,
never know when you might need a bag of chips. So uh so but I think Don had like 6 or 7 beers on the train, and then Jimmy had over
nice.
beers. I'm like, but like why not, right? It makes sense
Yeah.
to do that kind of thing. So and we had like a table. It was so awesome. I booked us a table. So there's four of us and we all sat together, and like if we had
Nice.
cards, we could have played cards the whole time. But like the scenery was really, really neat. Looking out, like we were right along the ocean for a while between London and Edinburgh. Um, what else? We saw lots of canola fields. We saw tons of sheep. It was just really, really cool. Like just
Sweet.
yeah, that was I think for most of us that was one of our favorite parts. Like before the golf part, like today,
Mhm.
train ride was like really kick ass. But
That's a cool thing being able to ride by train because to be like you can be
yeah,
pretty observant because you have to worry about driving, and then
yeah,
it's different than flying because you're not so high up off the ground. You're kind of
yeah,
normal, so you have
right
to be like an
amongst.
observant passenger.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the train again sometime soon because that was kick
Yeah.
ass. But
Sweet, man.
but yeah, then we went to Edinburgh or Edinburgh. Chloe Pilar told me it's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. So and Dave Sandylands and another
Well, he's a Scottish guy, Dave.
yeah, like at least three people told me how to say Edinburgh. So
Yeah,
for the record, it's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
But so by accident though, we were at our Airbnb, and like it was okay. It was not a great Airbnb, but it was walking distance from the train station, so it ended up working
Mhm.
out pretty good. And it was like considering what we paid for a place in London, this one was cheap because I got this 3 bedroom condo, which ended up especially being 4 bedrooms with four separate beds for like less than 500 bucks Canadian, and it was right downtown
Oh
Edinburgh.
wow,
Yeah, it was like
sick.
pretty slick. It was for one night, so it was whatever. But I didn't really read the reviews very well, and it was right across the street from a bar for I don't know, Sean, you're gonna have to check this one, but we're right across the street from a gay bar called CC Blooms. I don't can I say that? Is that
Oh yeah, you can say
I can
that.
say gay bar?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, I didn't
I
I'm
think you
not
can. I don't see why you can't. Like, it's
yeah,
not like you're
anyways, yeah.
being derogatory or
Yeah.
like,
It was
yeah.
so we're right across the street from a gay bar and a theater. So we were like right in the middle of like the guy came over and he had to make my bed because I didn't have any sheets or no bedding on the bed. So he had to unlock this thing. And luckily he was close by. Because otherwise
Mhm.
I'd been sleeping with like a little shitty blanket from the fucking at least I had a hide a bed. But like anyways, he's like, oh yeah, we're right in the middle of the gay triangle of Edinburgh. And I was like, what? Did you just say the gay triangle? He's like, yeah, all the gay bars are right around here. And I was like, oh, whoops. Uh, I had no idea. But we were
Yeah, yeah,
standing, and it was like loud outside of our windows, which were like paper thin from, probably 200 years ago, right
yeah,
outside our
exactly.
window until 4 a.m. So we got a little bit of sleep that night, but it was not great.
Not much. Damn. Well, and the reason you guys went over there is to do some golfing, and today
Mhm.
you're able to get your first round of golf in. So talk
Yeah,
a bit about that and some of the courses you're hitting up.
it was badass. We played Dumbarnie today, and it was made in like they only built it and opened it in 2020. So it's like brand new, and it had 2.5 COVID years worth to start, right? So they just started,
Mhm.
well, they just, yeah, it just started getting busy. But one of the first pictures I saw in there's a signed football from Eli and Peyton Manning. So they had played there last summer.
Oh,
But it's
cool.
like, it
And
doesn't have any like world rankings yet. Like tomorrow we're playing at Kings Barnes, which is like top 20 course in the world. And then Wednesday is Carnoustie, which has hosted the British Open before, like the Open. And then on
mhm.
Friday we played the old course at St. Andrews. So like those ones are all like pretty highly ranked. But this Dumbarnie, like the only place that I've played that's even comparable before would probably be like the Wolf Creek course in Mesquite, Nevada, or Cabot in Nova Scotia. So
Yeah.
to me, it's like already up to top 1 or 2 or 3 courses ever played. So it was
Which is wild that it's such a new course because that doesn't really happen over there much. All those courses are so
oh,
old, it's been around for so long that like a
yeah.
newer course is like an anomaly almost.
Yeah, it really is, but it's like right up there. Like I mean, it's only 4 years old, so they're probably not going to get they're not going to get the accolades yet that everywhere else has. But like man, the other coolest thing about this place so far is like we're staying in St. Andrews, and we're like 100 feet from the old course right now,
Mhm.
and there's 7 golf courses in St. Andrews, and it's like mostly a winter town. Like I don't know what the latitude here is, but it's like probably colder than Calgary on average throughout the year. Like I think it would definitely be more colder
Yeah.
than Calgary. And people are walking around town with their golf clubs. Like people walk around a ski town in BC with their skis. Yeah,
That's
seriously. They're
awesome.
walking up and down town with the
That's
with
cool.
golf clubs. It's insane. So just like, yeah, super cool. But I made I made the bet on the thing if I'd be 95 or over or 94 or under, and I
Mhm.
was at 89. So ended up like had a really good like first 3 holes parred all 3 holes, but I somehow drove the green on a par 4 for the first time in my life, and then proceeded to 3 putt for a par. So otherwise, it would have
Classic.
been like actually under par after 3 holes in Scotland. I was thinking I was pretty good at golf, but then was quickly humbled with a double or
Brought
triple.
back down to earth.
Yeah.
I'm most excited to see how your scores progress throughout the rest of the week.
Well, I
Because
probably get
89 is a pretty solid score to start off with.
that's decent. I was pretty
Yeah.
content. Yeah.
Well, and one thing people maybe who don't know who haven't been over there before, like the golf style is a lot different than what we have in North America. Like there's not really any golf carts, and you don't really drink on the course. It's more of a like a professional, I guess, way you could say it, or like
We
less
had
casual than
caddies
it is.
today. That was really cool.
You what? Sorry.
We had caddies today.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, we had 2
What was
caddies.
that like?
Andy and Liam, they were friggin' awesome, man. Liam just hacked darts the whole way.
Really?
Friggin' sweet, like a sweet Scottish guy. He was like, yeah, super awesome, dude. And so was Andy. They were awesome. So we got a couple caddies each day. So it was like super kick ass. Those guys, because like without those guys, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't know where I'm hitting. Like I would have never thought to like hit my 3-wood at the green on that one. He's like, oh yeah, man, go for it. And I'm like, oh yeah, fucking right. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it now. And then I
Darkness,
went for it
man.
on another one. I went for it on another one and just proceeded to smash it out into the field of the farmer's field, like completely off, like way out to the right. Spliced it out into no man's land. So, anyways, yeah, it's super sweet time. I'm so glad we came. I bought my first couple bottles of scotch. Got a nice Glen Turret here to bring home.
Ooh,
It's got a pretty nice bottle. So yeah, brought a jug. What else? Got some Lockley. I wanted to find some stuff that I wouldn't get at home.
Mhm.
A couple jugs here.
Nice,
So,
nice.
yeah,
And
man.
what about the golf course souvenirs?
Uh, they got me a cool golf bag today. This thing, nice little Barney.
Oh,
Is that what is that? Oh yeah, that's the right way. Sweet, yeah,
yeah, that's nice.
yeah, kind of cool, eh? So there's like a bunch of tees in there and a ball marker, and whatever else. So yeah,
Nice.
pretty
That's
sweet,
it.
dude. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it's just so awesome. So expensive, but so awesome.
Yeah, but one of those things that's like worth the time and the money to make happen, right?
The only thing I've seen that is priced better here so far than anywhere else is the wool. Usually at home, like wool stuff is so expensive, but there's
Yeah,
like
it is.
I think sheep would probably easily outnumber people here, probably 10 or 20 to 1. So there's a
Wow.
lot of wool. So I'm gonna bring back
No
the wool.
shortage. You're a big wool guy, so it works out good.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Well, and we haven't even mentioned our guest today on the show. We got I don't know how many times PBR Canada Stock Contractor of the year, 7-time.
Yep.
Nansen Vold from the famous Vold family stopped in. I wasn't able to make the interview, but Ted, you sat down with him and had a pretty good chat talking about
Yeah, it was awesome.
cable industry and PBR and all that fun stuff.
We were really last minute, and I really wanted to get a show done before we left, so we fit it in and got that, got her to work. But yeah, it was awesome. Awesome to have Nansen on the show. We had a really good chat, and Shuan joined in. So Shuan and I had a chat with Nansen, and we
Awesome.
talked like so many different things on buck and bulls and the Burton breeding, which for those in if you listen to the show with Nansen and you know him, the Burton bloodlines are something you probably know. But if you don't know Nansen, the Burton bloodlines And the bucking bulls are like probably they are the foundation of his herd of bucking bulls and bucking cows. And if you've seen any of Nansen's bucking bulls in the world, this is the bloodlines and where this came from. And it's pretty exclusive to his herd. So kind of neat that, for him to explain kind of a little bit more about what that is. And then we talked about one thing you had, we'll talk about it in the second half, but we talked about PBR teams, PBR World Finals, and he actually declined to go this year to the PBR World Finals. He had 2 bulls selected, but he said, it didn't really make sense. And May is kind of our high season. And, this May PBR Finals is working for some folks, but I don't think it's working for all. So let's get to the interview and we'll talk some more PBR stuff in the second half, eh?
Yeah, sounds good. We'll throw it to there now, and we'll catch you after the interview for the second half of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wasey.
Who's who?
I'm Ted. He's Wasey.
All right, welcome to episode 143 of Cowboy Shit, the podcast. My name is Ted Stovin, and co-hosting this week is our guest from the last show, Mr. Shaun Morton, all the way from his home in Spruce Grove, Alberta. But meeting us in the middle is the 7. Is it 7, Nansen? Is that right? 7 time?
I think it's 7, yeah.
Yeah, 7 time, and he's consecutively won the PBR Canada Stock Contractor of the Year 7 years in a row. Raised some of the best bucking bulls in some of the best bucking bulls that I think have ever been seen, from the likes of VJV Slash. There's, I remember, like Quagmire, and a lot of them, like Nailed has been down south. Cooper's Comet was a huge star for you guys for a few years, but like some of the best bulls in the world. He's he's a friend. We've never had him on the show yet, so we've decided to bring him on. So all the way from Ponoka, Alberta, here he is, Nansen Vold.
Thanks, Teddy. It's glad to be here. Should be interesting.
Thanks for doing this. We Shaun was like, so what are we going to talk about with Nansen? And I was like, I think we're going to get a major education on the bucking bull world in Canada.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, so there's lots to shoot away, and I'll try to answer the questions the best I can.
Well, I think in Canada, the most one of the more pressing things right now, or more timely things, is that Slash has been inducted into the Canadian Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame this year. So
Correct.
The induction ceremony is May 13th in Strathmore. There's a set of spurs here on my desk for the legend this year. I think is it Greg Rumor maybe, or was that last year? I forget. But anyways,
I think you're right.
Is that right? Yeah. So
Yep.
Slash is going into the Hall of Fame. So let's just talk about him right off the bat here. He's probably one of the, probably been one of the best to come from you guys, I would say, right? Like, had a lot of accolades and didn't get ridden really hardly ever. They rode him a couple times, and when they did ride him, they won on him. Like, I think we got to start with Slash, and just like, I guess that's the first bull you raised that's now in the Hall of Fame, and he's pretty recent, which I think is pretty cool. They put him right in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was calf was born right in the ranch here in Ponoka, and got started with him as a 4-year-old. Wasn't nothing real special, and he kind of kicked it off halfway through that 4-year-old year, and kind of never looked back after that. He's done lots of stuff for us, from getting us down the road to all these major events with Jason, and get a bull like that can go in any round, in any rodeo, PBR. They ask you to come, and that's how we kind of got going. When you have a bull that's that good a quality, it's easy to get more involved and get some more shows under your belt.
Well, and just I don't have I don't have pro bull stats anymore. I haven't been writing anymore, so I haven't been on the pro bull stats lately. But looking at,
you gotta buy
I gotta buy the code for it. But I remember looking at his stats different times, and like average mark is probably like a 44 plus, maybe 40, maybe pushing on 45 average. I don't remember now, but like how long was it that they didn't ride him for? And when was one of the first rides? Was it Kyle Lozier to win that 20 grand? And he kind of like rode him for probably like 7.5 seconds, technically, maybe, depending on
I'm
who's
thinking
judging,
is it
like,
maybe, I don't know if Birch is before that at Stavely. I don't know the dates on it all. I can't remember that far back now.
I remember
one of those at Wanham.
Yeah, Wanham for like 20,000. And Lozier, like, I'm not knocking on the judges, but it was maybe a long whistle, or maybe felt like it was maybe not quite. I don't know.
It wasn't its best day, and that happens. But That's part
Yeah.
of bull riding. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
out there off the base and he got him stuck, and it was good for him. Won a big check there. So
Well, and that would have been the first one because that was 2011, and then Burks rode Slash in 2012 in Stavely. Looking back at the
there you
videos,
go.
that's how that would have worked. So, yeah, it was, or it might have been like in the summer, Lozier rode him or something. I'd have to go back and look at that video again now. But anyways, like, was do you remember how many trips it was that they didn't get rode for? Like, it was a pretty major amount. Like, it was a full couple seasons, right?
Yeah, it was like 35 plus trips, closer to 40 maybe. And he never got rode in his CPRA outings ever. And he was on the CPRA our dock list for 5 years probably. So,
Yeah.
and he finally got rode at the CFR by Tanner, and he won the round, and it was a good finish to his career. It was a great,
That was his retirement year, right?
yeah, that was his final farewell tour year. Yeah,
And that was his final
his last
out
outing.
ever in CPRA, like in
Yep.
Canadian Rodeo competition. Yeah. First time they ride him. Yeah.
First time they ride him in pro rodeo. Yeah,
In Pro Rodeo. Because they rode him in
He got
PBR.
the PBRs a bit.
I think Lozier must have been one of the first guys to ride Slash. And then
Burks.
yeah, and then Burks made the best ride ever on him, I think. Like that.
Yeah, it was. He had a good day. That he was 91.5 or some damn thing.
Yeah.
It was
Unbelievable.
a great. Yeah, it was good.
And he spurred him even too, didn't he? Like he was just so rank.
It was good. It was one of the best in like live for me, and one of the best bull rides I've seen personally. Plus, I got to flank the bull. It was one of the it'll go down in my memory forever as probably the best ride I've ever seen in Canada. Anyway,
And then for it to be on Slash and like in Stavely at the Glen Keely, like the stars aligned. You always get the guys that ride really good. Like there's some special stuff that happens in that arena a lot of different times.
It does, and that atmosphere's changed a bit since it's gone outside, but I think it'll come back hopefully. But
yeah,
it's one of the best bull ridings all year. We always look forward to going to that one. It was
100%.
top shelf. Yeah,
100%. It was pretty neat in that little Stavely hockey rink though. Like it's so tiny and there's just no space there, and everybody's docked on top of each other, and they made those big like bleachers and stuff. Like it was always so cool that way.
Yeah, it's the best one. It was the best one for a long time.
Yeah. But now like the Ponoka, to be able to have those big outdoor shows like the Saturday night one, like I just remember, I don't know, those couple of years we did the COVID one in 21, and then last year, like it's just unbelievable, all the people hanging off of each other at that thing. That was like Stavely on steroids almost, right? Like it was pretty special those nights too.
Yeah, that thing's kind of took off on its own again. Like we had the Jace Hardy there for a lot of years, and it kind of faded out. And the Stampede wanted to bring it back, and it come back as good as it possibly could have. It was a great turnaround, and showcase what Ponoka can do, and the people that are behind it and support it. It's good. It's a top end PBR of the year, really.
Nansen, you mentioned the exposure that Slash gave you in Canada. Did you see that carry out in the States as well?
Yeah, well, he didn't get to go many trips in the States. We took him to like Billings, a few, maybe Napa, Idaho, a few spots. But he got the World Finals 4 times. So that was great. We had a chance to sell that bull numerous occasions, and we never really didn't want to do it. I think it was going to be a bad move on our part at the time. And it just turned around. That bull just did everything for us, right? So like I said earlier, you got to go to so many more shows, events that it carried our program to the top as it is now. That's what kind of kicked everything off. So it was a good move to keep him in the long run, definitely.
What if you don't have to say, but what's the highest number you turned down for him?
At the time, that's when those bulls like Gunpowder and Lead were trading down there, and I'm trying to think what else at the time. I think
Pound the Alarm would have went down a similar timeline.
He was a little later.
Okay,
but it was Gunpowder and Lead just brought 100 grand. That same, they're because they're the same age. They were both 400 models.
Oh, okay.
And he brought 100,000. We weren't
US
even
dollars.
Yeah, I mean, we were probably like half of that.
Oh, really?
And he was the better bull in my opinion, but that's probably biased. But
yeah, I guess rare throughout bull riding to see a bull that was that big and heavy in his front end that could turn back that hard and move that fast.
He's built like a buffalo. That Slash was like heavy on the front shoulders, light in the back end. You don't see many bulls like that around. That's the old Burton genetics that we carry deep in our program. So we see a little bit that come through again. I got Teddy would know. You might know too, Sean, that bull Rico, I call him. He's built just like him, looks like him. He's a grandson on on the mom side, and that stuff is riders don't like it, but as a contractor, it's a great build on a bull that you want to that's going to perform well with that stature.
Somebody, or it was Billy Melville. So he was writing the induction for the Hall of Fame. He's writing the, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but there's like, the write up when they go in the Hall of Fame, and he's like, tell me about the Burton bloodlines. And I said, I don't know enough about that, but call Nansen because he'll tell you. Like, I hope did he get a hold of you the other day?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I talked to him about it, and it come back.
Good.
Like my grandpa built all that stuff up through the Burton bloodline. So those Burtons went down to the States and had a bunch of Longhorn cattle and brought in Mexicans from Mexico and bred these cows to this, and that's what built that whole line. And no one really had it, but my grandpa got a hold of it, and then he kind of gave it out as the breeding bulls kind of come up through the ages, and then that whole all of Canada's got that somewhere in their bloodline. I almost guarantee it. But we're getting so Americanized breeding up here now compared to years past, so it's kind of fading out. But we got a pretty deep hold of it in our program, so that's proud of that. And I think it turns out we see it in our calves that it's still there, and hopefully it goes on forever, really. But
so who are the Burton folks? You gotta explain a little more.
Well, I don't even. Dwayne Robinson was at the time. My grandpa bought these cows from the Burtons, and they were raising these crossbred cattle with Mexican breeding. And then they sold out. My grandpa bought all the cows, and then that's when Sissons come into play.
Oh yeah.
And they took over the cow herd from my grandfather when he sold them out. And then Dwayne Robinson kept like 9 or 10 heifer calves back that they didn't want, and that's where our program started from. So Sissons had theirs, Dwayne had his, and then I joined Dwayne in 2000, or no, it was even earlier than that, 1998, I think it was. I was 18 years old. That's why I remember that. And then
that's a tumbling dice days.
Right. Tumbling dice, Triangle X. And that all came up through Dwayne. He started that whole program. Kelly Armstrong was a part of it for a while, and he kind of got out of it. And then Dwayne and I did it till, I don't know, since Dwayne left about 6 years ago now, maybe 5 years ago. So yeah, and it's still deep in our herd, which is great because it's out there in Canada, but not. I think we got the deepest herd of it. So, and I think it's showed. So it's been a really good, positive thing for what we do.
What are the Sissons up to now? I haven't seen or heard of them in quite a while now. I remember seeing.
I haven't seen them. They're just farming.
Okay.
Just putting seed in and growing grain and.
Okay.
Yeah. They got out of it. I bought them out. I don't know. It's been 8 years now, 10 maybe. Took all their bulls, all their cows. That was a while back.
Okay.
Right when Rod sold out. Same time. When Schoenberg got out of it. Sawyer took the main bull herd, and I bought all the young stock from Rod at the same time as well.
Oh,
They all transitioned that one year. And we kind of got busy around here in a real hurry.
I guess so. Well, because so I got to go back to Slash a bit more though. Like, do you think that that Josh Burke's ride was one of the best ones? The Tanner ride was a little bit like he stayed on him, but it wasn't as pretty because he was.
No, he made the whistle. Yeah, he was out of shape at the end for like that second and a half, probably. Yeah, but still was 88 or 89.
Yeah, he won the average that day. Remember that?
Yeah.
But like the Burke's ride was the prettiest though. It just worked out so well.
Yeah, by a mile.
There was one in Pinoca one time. Somebody was a lower score on it. Maybe Galermy. Somebody hawked a rope into him and got a lower score. I thought one time.
That was Calgary.
Oh, Calgary. Okay. Oh, okay.
The PBR finals.
Oh, okay.
It was like 81. Like yeah.
Had a bad one.
Wasn't
but then
that was right in his prime, and it just wrecked that bull, and they kind of take a break for a bit there, but he come back at it. So it was good. Yeah.
Well, one of the other ones I wanted to talk about though was when Bestplug rode him in Calgary in the 10 round. Kind of a little bit of a forgotten ride, but he like that was. Chad looks back. I remember talking to Chad, and he's like, "I'm more proud of the ride on Slash in Calgary in the 10 round than even the winning the 100,000 on that little bull of Bruce's, right? Like that was a more difficult round and ride to take on Slash, and just pretty quietly was like 89 on him that day too.
Yeah, and then he was scheduled to be in the 4 round, but then I remember Shifter coming seeing me that day and say we're moving him out of the 4 round because nothing fits with him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But it worked out for Chad anyway. it didn't really hurt the bull. It was just one of those things that you always want them at the top 4 round. That's where you want your
Premier.
bull to be at,
Yeah.
but never happened. But yeah,
Did he never go in the 4 round then?
yeah, twice,
Oh, okay.
twice or
I
three
thought so.
times. Bucked
Yeah.
off Tyler Thompson. I forget who else had him. He never got the award there though.
Really?
Was bridesmaid twice.
Really? Is that
Yeah.
kind of one of the one that was missing in that for first slash?
One that's missing for me, period.
Oh, really? You haven't won that yet? Oh, no way.
No.
No way.
Yeah. That's
Jeez.
been my menace since day one. We've been able to go there, yeah.
No
But
way.
it'll come one day, yeah.
Like
We got
I
it
guess-
last year with Outlaw Buckers, picked it up last year, but under our umbrella kind of, but it was still one of those things I haven't really got a hold of for the Vold Rodeo
on
banner.
your own name yet. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, a couple more here because I want to talk about this Hall of Fame for Slash to go in the Hall of Fame here now. He retired and would have been, it was 2012, I guess, or 2013 was his last.
12 or 13, I think.
Yeah. So
yeah,
he kind of put you guys on the map essentially though, because you in those first few years you went to all the PBR events, but the whole rodeo business ends up being a bit tricky to get in and out of that, and you had to buy out systems, and you got to come into it in a big way and then work with Wayne because it's technically still Wayne Vold Rodeo. It's not
correct.
Like it's Wayne's card, and the whole system on that is the barrier to entry is a little trickier, right? So that kind of started in, what would that have been, like 08 or 10? Like when did you actually get going on that?
Yeah, 07 I think it was the first year I joined Wayne. Yeah.
And Wayne, go ahead, sir.
And the first year we didn't get one bull of the CFR. That was first we went with Wayne. We had all young stock, right? We had 3 and maybe a few 4-year-olds kicking around. We had sold all our stuff to Bruce Sunster.
Oh, really?
He bought all our calves as 3 and 4-year-olds. Yeah. We had nothing really in the tank at the time. And then the next year, Slash made it, our only bull made it to the CFR, and he collected up the CFR bull of the
Slash.
Bull of the,
that was your first one to go to the CFR with Slash.
Yeah, the only one at that time. And then he won won top bull award for the finals. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Huh. We always joke about having a little stock trailer that pulled around the big banner with Slash on it, just pulling one bull around the countryside and going to these events.
No way. But
$1.
But if you're bringing one, is the best one there.
Yeah. Well, exactly. We always said, well, if we're gonna have one, you might as well have the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
So it always worked out. Yeah.
He kind of helped build the program up, but what does it mean for him to get in the Hall of Fame now? Like that's a pretty awesome acknowledgement that, your first bull ever to go to the CFR is now a Hall of Fame bull, which there's only probably 6 or 7 bulls even in the Hall of Fame in Canada. Right. I think I'd have to go look. Like there's not very many. To get that animal achievement is like, it
means a lot. Of course, it's a huge award. It means a great deal to everything that we've ever done. So I don't know how you explain it. Just very fortunate to have it come our way, and I think he's going to do justice. He's proven himself, and it was one of our best bulls we've ever raised. So it's all good all the way around. And I'm glad, however, it got voted on and in. It worked out, and I guess we'll see. It's this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sending Jake to Camrose.
Jake's going to Penhold. I'm sending Tanner Gerlitz to Camrose.
Oh, really? Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Did you write your speech yet for Saturday?
No.
Are you accepting it though, or is Wayne? How does that work?
I think we're all going to go up there. Wayne, Dwayne, and myself. So.
Oh, right on.
Wayne talks a lot better than I do, and so does Dwayne. So I might just sit in the background and just let those guys do the talking, but I'm sure I'll have to say something.
Yeah, you got to say something.
Yeah.
Like the drummer in the band, just hang out in the back and
let those guys handle it. Yeah. I'm not much of the guy on the mic anyway, so.
So what about some of the products from Slash in the years since? So you just talked about Rico. He's a Slash calf from my mom's side.
That's the thing, that Slash hasn't really performed as a fact of a sire. His heifer calves were better producers than he was as a direct breeder. So we've kind of gone that route with them. It didn't really pan out that great. Can't really say nothing that's came out except for Enrico was on the mom side, so that's what I'm saying. It kind of flowed through that. vein, I guess you'd call it. And yeah, it didn't really pan out for any real superstars that Slash ever raised. We still got lots of semen on him though, tons of it.
Yeah.
Sold a few straws here and there, but nothing's really popped out of the woodwork.
Well, I guess
More
that
of a
doesn't
freak,
always
maybe.
not always the case then. Yeah.
No, and then you got bulls like Fig Jam that's probably been our #1 sire for the last 8 years easily.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also
Tons
has a great name for those that don't know. Fig Jam. Fuck him good. Just
Fig
ask
Jam.
me.
Exactly. That was a good one.
That's a great name. Is that is that your favorite name? Bull
Yeah,
name
it
so
probably
far?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy came up with that, a golfer, little Curtis Bale. He gave me that name. I said, "What the hell is that about?" Then he told me, "I'm like, that damn right, that's gonna fit. That's gonna stick."
How'd you decide to put it on him, on that bull? Like what?
Didn't really. Just he was a good calf, and then I said, we'll stick that one on him." I never forget. We went to Cheyenne to the rodeo, and Chad Berger's there and asked me about this. What's this Fig Jam bull? He says, "You guys don't grow any figs up in Canada. What's this about?" And I just laughed. And I told him. He just thought that was the best thing ever. Yeah.
And then what's the other one? Doesn't Curtis have a dilly gaff?
Gilly Gaff. Yeah.
Right?
What is that about now?
Does it look like I give a fuck?
That's right. There you go. Yeah, there's a
And
few
that bull did
code
pretty
name
good.
bull names. Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
What
I
are
come
the
from
other?
Görlitz too.
Oh really? Oh
The
no way.
name dinner the bull, I think it was red and white spot that Tanner and Kevin raised.
What are
Pretty
the
sure.
other? What are the other code names? Or are you allowed to tell the secrets?
We got Bohica.
Bohica. What's that one?
Bend over, here it comes again.
Oh shit! There was another one that somebody got in trouble for at the Ranchmans one time. What was that one? Or was that you guys or somebody else? Or was that Sawyer?
Well, yeah, we got a little carried away one time. We named some like electric lettuce and white powder, and it kind of didn't go over very good with the upper ups. I remember Ryan Byrne phoning me, giving me shit. Said, "What the fuck are you guys doing over there?"
You're outdoing Billy Richards on the naming, which is no small
man.
feat.
Billy has
Yeah,
some
he's really good at that too. Yeah.
What's your favorite name you haven't used yet? You can say it here because then nobody can steal it because it's been spoken. The word's been spoken. Yeah.
Trademark.
Oh, haven't used yet. I just called a new one. I see him coming up the ropes called Tick Tick Boom. I really like that name.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I was just reading up on Hard Not to Get. The one that Lonnie made such a good ride on in the 4-round last year in Pinoca. I think that's a solid
That's
name,
another
too.
story too.
Oh, what's that one?
His original name was Get Hard.
Oh.
So I said to Jake, we can't go to the PBR fucking final of the bull called Get Hard. So I changed it. Last minute, changed it. He says, "What the fuck are you doing?" I said, "Well, I can't do it. I'm gonna get in shit." So I just changed it.
He just knew Ryan was gonna call you again. Oh man. So what are the other what do you got? What else you got ready to go for some new ones?
I got a list longer than 10 pages, but it's really hard to pick them. Like that's why I like when you buy bulls from guys, it's easier. Just give me a name because it's a fun thing to do, but it gets old after a while, and you don't want to kind of repeat everybody's old shit from the years past. So it's not an easy job. And you got that many to name every year. Like we got 44-year-olds coming up that we got to get new names on, so it's going to be a feat in its own task.
Is there something, I don't know if you guys are doing it or not lately, but some people will sell like an auction and so you can name a bull or whatnot, or you put some companies on them sometimes. Like Slash was a VJV Slash, like
like the market put a sponsorship on him for the years he was bucking. It was great. That's where you got that from. And I've done it for a few bulls over the years. Like there's Proline Power. Remember him? He was
the black
Proline
banana horn bull.
Yeah, he was a Powerline company that put a name on one. And we've sold them at some auction sites and raised some money for stuff like that. It's a good avenue to go with for sponsorship for sure.
Yeah.
And people love it.
Oh, I bet. And then it kind of gets them some skin in the game on watching their bull mark too. Yeah.
And they pay attention a little more and it gets more people involved. So
why was it Slash? Why Slash?
Why was it named Slash?
Yeah,
it was. Dwayne Robinson named him. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Love Slash of Guns N' Roses. That's exactly where it came from.
No shit.
Yep.
And then I know where Quagmire came from. Somebody's a Family Guy fan, I suppose. Eh?
Giggity giggity.
He just looked like a quagmire, that big old soggy Charlie. He looked a little different than anything else.
Huh.
He was he was a litter mate to Slash Show, same year.
Oh, really? No way.
Quag, yeah.
Do you remember that time I
That was
got on Quagmire at Dwayne's house when the junior bull riding that time?
And he was like a 3-year-old that looked like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, it was humongous. He filled up the whole chute, and I was in the junior
Yeah.
bull riding. Yeah,
And how'd that go?
not so good. Well, I know I rode him halfway, like halfway across
remember.
Dwayne's little arena. It was not bad.
Yeah, there's been a few stories down at Dwayne's Little Arena back in the day. Holy shit.
Yeah. What? Oh man, that was a fun bull ride when Jace's bull riding was there. That thing was unreal too.
Yeah, it was a very good atmospheric spot to be at.
So in the kind of
One
in
of
the
the best.
for those that don't know, kind of in the river valley, just on this like southwest side of Ponoka, or is it straight? Yeah, is it southwest? Is that right?
It's almost straight west.
Straight west of town, kind of in the river valley.
Yeah.
Like little backyard arena. Always was like the start of or the middle of June, right before Ponoka Stampede started at Dwayne's house, and like I remember the party was just so ridiculous. Like we just would stay up like all night at Dwayne's at his house because the rules are there are no rules because you're just at somebody's house, right? Like there's liquor licenses and stuff, of course, but Dwayne probably got sick of his house getting broken and just people partying their faces off at his house and had to clean up after, I'd imagine, eh?
Oh yeah, Vicky wasn't very happy with lots of guys after that event. This house overlooks the top of the valley, and you got to walk up there after, and it's 6 a.m, and there's still a party going on in her garage or in her house. It got a little out of control some nights, but
Yeah.
it was damn sure fun.
Oh yeah, that's good times. Well, so speaking of that, though, now like having the event go to the Stampede grounds and having it with Ponoka, the first like real big trial of it, I guess, was 2021 in September, wasn't it? After the wagons, wasn't the first time they kind of put them together? Is that right?
COVID year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of and then we almost got shut down. Remember that? It was almost
yeah, like the day it was supposed to start.
Yeah, but we pushed through, and that crowd was crazy. It was awesome.
It was like wasn't there? Because so here's the other side of it though. Like two things I think we should mention. Wayne Vold is.
Well, he calls me. He's my cousin.
He's your cousin, but he calls you his nephew.
Nephew, yeah.
Yeah, but you guys are cousins.
Just the age gap. It sounds better, I guess. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. But then on the second side, though, you're actually on the board of directors for Ponoka too. Is that correct?
No, I'm not. No.
You're not, but your dad is, and your dad has been.
My dad is,
and has run the rodeo. Your dad Blair has run the rodeo portion of Ponoka for what, like 30 years?
Many years, yeah. My grandfather was there at the start of it, yeah.
Yeah, and your grandfather being Ralph.
Ralph, yeah.
And his middle name was Nansen too, or was he was Ralph Nansen or Nansen Ralph?
His first name was Nansen Ralph. Well, my great grandpa, his dad was named Nansen. He was Nansen, and then I was Nansen. So yeah.
And how did
skip one generation?
They skipped it with Blair.
Yeah.
Huh. So, and he passed away just last year. Ralph.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just a year ago. Yeah. Just a year and a bit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. April. I think I just read up on it.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the VJV side, right? Because Ralph, he started, or no, wait, tell us about VJ, like the auction markets and your family's connection on that side too.
Yeah, my grandpa and Harry Vold started the market with Joneses. That's where the J came from in VJV.
Okay.
And Joneses ran the books, kind of, they were the accounting part of the firm, and Ralph and Harry kind of did the road work and sold the cattle, and Harry was an auctioneer, so it all kind of worked out that way.
And so
how old is that business? What year were they got started?
53 started.
Really?
Yeah.
And then did you guys and then your dad bought it from them at some point?
My grandpa, my dad, and myself were, at the end of the day, we're all a part of the market before we sold it. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys sold it, I guess, about what? Well, 65 years?
10 years. It'll be 10 years next year.
Oh, really? So
August.
2014 was when it was sold.
2014. Yeah.
Oh, right on. And it eventually grew to, like, you guys grew it to Stavely, Ponoka, and Dawson. Is that right? Am I remembering this right?
Correct. Yep.
3 spots. Yeah.
We had 4 markets. And back in the day, we owned Rimby at one time too. My grandpa had a few stuff going on. He had quite a bit of stuff in the irons in the fire, you call it, back in the day. He had shit going on everywhere.
Well,
So
wasn't he?
yeah, but we had the end.
And he was like a wasn't he a 2 or 3 sport athlete? Didn't he play pro baseball and was high up in the rodeo side of things too? Like, is that right? Am I
Well,
remembering that right?
Yeah, not rodeo, but he played professional baseball with the Brooklyn Dodgers
Yeah.
and he was on the farm team for the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, almost at the same
Back
time,
in-
wasn't it?
Yeah, right before that, like late 40s, early 50s, and he got out of it and then come home and bought the market and
Started that,
bought a big cow ranch out by Big Valley and did some stuff. Yeah.
and
On lots of
also
land.
started the golf course too. Is that not?
Golf course came in. No, that was well, it was Harry's land that Ralph bought off Harry to build the golf course. That's how that worked.
Yeah.
And they built that in 1983, I think, or 84.
And it was like a Alberta and Canadian Championship like golf course too, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah,
was there some
it was
major tournaments there?
Yeah, it was top end course for that time, that era of around the between Edmonton, Calgary kind of highway.
Yeah.
It was one of the best ones for sure.
And what you golf well too. What is your experience on the golf world? I don't know that either.
Well, we grew up at that golf course since I was like 5 years old. So we were there all the time. So we golfed every day pretty much. So yeah, we were golfing all my cousins and carrying on with tournaments and going all over the country and did that all through high school. Played pretty well. And then this rodeo thing took over and I haven't really played as much as I would like to, but still can and do it all the time when we go on holidays and try to get away in the summer a few times, but not like it could have been. Was really thought about going to school and going that route with it at one point, but then the market kind of got in the way and then the rodeo thing kicked off. So this is where we sit now.
Did you have offers to go to school on a golf scholarship?
No, I didn't pursue it that far. I didn't go to college after high school, so it kind of ended right there and then. So I'm sure if I would have went on to college, it could have been a different story for sure.
Yeah.
Nansen, you mentioned sires, and I just wondered with the depth that you have and the depth that you've had over the last number of years, if it's difficult to pick which bulls to breed with, or if that's always been something that's been an easy choice for you.
Yeah, first and foremost, you go off their bucking ability as their career went. If their longevity was there, it was a good bull to go after. And secondly, we always look at their build of the animal. If he's got the right bone structure and body structure that will fit a bucking type athlete bull. So it's not easy, but we've definitely experimented over the years of different stuff. Like, I don't know, like I said, Fig Jam was probably our number one. He was just a good bull and turned him out and it really worked out for us. And then lately we picked up, well, a few years back, got Sheep Creek back from down the States and brought him home, which is a Canadian bred bull that was raised with our program, that Burton Genetics throwback again. And that's really worked out well. So we're trying to outcrossing a little bit. I don't want to diverse too much into that American program a whole bunch, say, but I've definitely tried it and some stuff has worked. And we, Prescott's have played at that game quite a bit with the American bloodlines and it's worked out well for them. And we get lots of that stock from him every year. So it's definitely not easy, but it's a trial and error game at the end of the day, really.
Earlier you had mentioned B-Strum, and that got me thinking back to the cricket bulls, and you mentioned Kelly Armstrong, and Garfield was one of his, and I'm just thinking back to the list of guys that were, very successful bull breeders that all had their superstars that are no longer in the game. So kind of on that note, I guess what's kept you in it this long, and you're, you guys are still growing. When a lot of guys, they did it for a while, they reached a high level and then they moved on to something else.
Yeah, I think. Well, we've always liked it from day one, and we were going to do it for a long time. It was, like with Harry being what he did, and I've always had interest in it. Don't see it slowing down anytime soon. But what really kicked us off from getting from where we were just originally starting to where we are now is definitely what transitioned to going with Wayne Vold with the rodeo company, needing so many more bulls and having to get other avenues to buy bulls. Like we had for years we raised everything ourselves and didn't, go searching for other guys' stuff. Didn't really need it at the time. And then once the rodeo thing kicked in with Wayne, we found out we were short. We didn't have enough. We had to get guys to come help us. So there's lots of good guys raising bulls in Alberta and Saskatchewan, BC. So we looked out and, found some good partners and guys raising them, and haven't really looked back since. So our next moves are just with hanging with these guys we got. And, we brought a few bulls out from the States to breed with outcross that stuff again, but we're trying to keep local and keep the Canadian bloodline alive as best we can from what works best for what we're doing up here, for sure.
When you mention what works best for up here, the bulls have got to be bred differently because the little plumber bloodlines don't work up here. Those bulls would kind of die in the wintertime almost. Hate to say it, but
it's not an easy place to live at. Like, these bulls are a lot thinner hided than your average big, strong beef bull, right? So you got to have some intel of your Canadian genetics that are used to that kind of weather format that we get in this country that have to last. Because we've had bulls come up from the States and they just can't handle it. You got to put them in a barn and baby them like, a bunch of calves. So I'm more committed to the Canadian bloodlines than I think a lot of contractors are up in Canada, but it's each to their own. Everyone tries different stuff, so whatever seems to work for you. But there is not a huge market, but there's guys that in the States that look for Canadian buckers that they've bought. Like Gene Owens has bought a pile of them over the years. JW Hart have had success with those bulls, and they really like them. And they're, the right ones will last down south too. So it's what they're looking for sometimes is that little different than most guys have in the States, is get some of that Canadian stuff up down their way.
What have been some of the biggest successes for you in selling bulls down there? Which ones have done the best? And I think I think it's neat to bring some of them back, like, thought it was cool that the Hogs brought back Pound the Alarm from Gene, and then you bringing Sheep Creek back. Like, I know that, like, Tyler raised that bull, Tyler Thompson, but to get them bulls back is pretty neat. But talk about some of the bigger successes on some of the ones that have gone down there.
Yeah, like our first big hit down there was Canadian Miss when we sold him to JW Hart back in. He's only a 3-year-old. He was young. I think I had 4 rider trips on his back when he called me up out of the blue and wanted to buy this calf. So made a quick deal, got it done, got him down there, and the rest is history. Like, he ended up 4th in the world, I think, 4 years ago, just before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably been our biggest successful bull in the States by a mile.
Yeah.
Like, was a full-on contender for bull of the world for a couple of years there. And we sold other bulls, like Swagger was down south of JW, Oz. There's a bunch. I think he's probably had a dozen of them at least that we've sold to him over the years.
Huh.
That Canadian Miss sticks out by quite a bit for the best one, for sure.
Would you have undersold that bull, being only having a few trips? Like, he wouldn't have been able to be worth the 150,000 or like the huge check when he's only got a few trips.
He wasn't. He was still a very high-end bull for price-wise, but he would have been worth a lot more if I would have held on to him another year and a half.
But
at the time,
so is that credit to JW to recognize something in that bull that he was worth investing in, or just good luck?
Yeah, totally. Story? He's a very good bull guy. We've had lots of success with JW. He tries hard, and whatever it takes to get the bull out of the chute, he'll get it done. Like, he's got more tricks than most guys got. That some guys will just give up on a bull that's not really, doing it for him in the chute, or gets hurt. They'll kind of give up on him, but not him. He'll get him done till they really prove him wrong. But yeah, he's been my biggest connection down there, has been JW for sure.
It's been a
pretty good relationship.
Yeah.
Talked to him quite a bit, and he keeps me in. He's got some good calves, got him on a Canadian Miss. We're excited for that. He's got a 2 or 3-year-old now that's really competing in the futurity game. That's doing very well. So that'll kind of help our program again, and we're getting those cows on the ground too with Canadian Miss. We've been AIing all our heifers every year to that bull, so hope that goes back to Fig Jam again. That's the sire to Fig Jam, so that's where that all goes back to.
That was my next question, was what his bloodlines were. But so before you sell a bull like that, do you have the rights to pull a whole bunch of semen on him before he goes down there?
Oh yeah, well I just did that knowing that what the bull was before he left. I drew him, and JW's drawing him too. So if he runs short, he's got some. That bull's still alive, so I think he's putting lots of cows on him. I think you're gonna see lots of Canadian Miss offspring come up the next few years here.
Oh wow.
The cool thing with
Wow.
the bloodlines is, like aside from that bull being named Canadian Miss, even if he wasn't, you don't own him anymore. But anybody who's in the industry is going to know any of those good bulls where their bloodlines are. So you're handing him off to a new owner, but he's still kind of flying your banner while he's down there, right?
Yeah, and it's good that he put that Canadian name on him. That really helped because it was an easy transition for people to figure out where he came from. But yeah, but that's where ABBI comes in. Everyone can tell. You look up a bull in 2 seconds what their bloodlines are anymore with the way the technology is. We rely a lot on ABBI just for that reason. Keeps our program in check. You can, kill a whole lineage of cows and heifers that aren't producing just off one cow that's raised all these stuff for you over the years that doesn't seem to be working. You just accidentally the whole works of them and they're gone, and vice versa. If the good ones are producing, that stuff works back the other way too. So that's a great avenue to go with. That's what our biggest tool is in our program is for sure that ABBI.
Nansen, I wanted to I wrote down Cooper's Comet. One of the wildest stories ever was the NFR night with the go round.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won it. We won the go around twice that year for us. So we got a buckle out of there. And then the first night was the bulls named after my stepbrother that passed away a year to that date of that bull winning that award, which is crazy. It was kind of a pretty surreal whole week there with all that going on. But yeah, that bull did good for us too. Stuck the name on him at a very young age because I thought I had hopes for that bull right from the day one. And it kind of just turned into that. And the story, yeah, it's quite a story for sure. How that all kind of lined up with the stars, or you basically want to say.
He was one of the first, or if not the first bull that you had to go to the NFR too. Is that right?
Was he the first bull to the NFR for us? I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't there two that year? Or was he the one?
Well, him and Nail, but Nail never got picked.
Nail didn't get picked.
They were both in the world finals, but Nail never got to the NFR, which he should have been. He was almost the better bull at the time too, but
yeah.
But Cooper's Comet did, showcase there pretty well for us. Definitely.
Well, he had to win 2 rounds on him, eh?
Yeah.
I just remember that night though, being there and that to the day was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it didn't really. But yeah, it was just the way it all come together. It was overwhelming almost, really, at the end of the day. But it's a pretty good deal.
Where does that buckle live?
It lives right on the top shelf above my cabinet here.
Yeah.
With a bottle of whiskey beside it, Pendleton. Never been open. There's 4 or 5 of them up there. We've had pretty good luck at the NFR as far as buckle rounds go. Like Wayne says, most guys go down there for a lifetime and can't get one buckle out of there, but we've had pretty good success, so it's been fortunate that way.
How does it compare now to? Well, we were talking the other day, the PBR World Finals. It's like, is it true that we didn't get any bulls down there this year? Like not Happy Camper or Catch My Drift or like you guys didn't have any, but you told me they picked 2, but it's hardly worth the trip to Texas right now for 2 bulls either, right? So unfortunately,
and we're just going to get
it.
It doesn't fit. That it's a 2-weekend event now, right? So you're down there for a long time, and to be gone that long for 2 head, and we got all this stuff going on in Canada, it just didn't pan out. Unless we're going to get a pile to make the numbers really work for us, we just declined it, and I think it's fine. It's not going to really hurt us too badly to be down there, but it's always fun to be there. Obviously, it's a World Finals, of course, but we'll pass this year and maybe we'll see what happens next year.
What are your thoughts on the changing of the seasons that way? I almost got thinking of it the other day, or not the other day, but just I've had the thought for a while that the team series has completely devalued the bull business on the team side, because the superstar bulls are way less featured now on the team series. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, they don't want the rank ones for those teams. They want the guys to get on some good ones that are going to ride for 85 to 88.
Yeah.
Not looking for the 90 pointers by any means. I don't think there is rounds for them. like you said, they don't talk about the bulls like they do at the other
No.
part of the season. So there's no bull race there. And it takes the same bulls to do those events, but they don't really talk about them as much. It's more about the riders now. So it's kind of lost an avenue that way for us, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, how long this is going to go for, if it's going to be the next new thing or what they're going to come up with.
I
don't
think
mind
it's
it.
also, yeah, I as far as competition goes, I like it too, but I've noticed though that like, yeah, the whoop-haws and like the real like rank bulls, they just aren't really relevant on the team series. It's not even,
No.
they're not discussed. It's just not a thing now.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that way. It's hard for the contractors to get any good excitement about that whole team thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna really come up with to change it. It's like
Well,
it's more of a rider friendly type atmosphere now than a one that bucks, over the moon kind of thing. So I don't know.
I think having the team series has also kind of devalued the world title race too, because it's like a half a season now, and it just like it's so condensed.
yeah.
Yeah. And there's no off
And-
season now.
Well, we went down there, left for Napa, a month and a half ago, and went to that event, and I thought it was good crowd wise. The atmosphere was all there, but they just weren't riding anything. All your top dogs were hurt or not even around, or it was just, I don't know.
Just a weird feeling.
They- Yeah, they rode like, I don't think they rode anything in short round for 2 weekends or 3 weekends in a row. Like, it was pretty
Ugh.
good for the bull quality, but like the crowd wise, they can't really enjoy that, I don't think. But that's
There's not
for
any
my-
rides.
No, come to
Well,
see
and-
some good ones, but they all buck off, kind of thing.
I couldn't believe the news today either, but like Kaike is #1 in the world, not even going to the finals. He's hurt himself and he's not going.
He's got a
And have
rod in his leg, doesn't he?
Yeah, he broke his tib fib somewhere in the last little while. So
Yeah, I seen that. Right, didn't look that bad on. Like, he just landed funny on it or something. Or got stepped
Yeah.
on, maybe. I'm not sure, but sucks. Yeah,
pretty wild. A guy's in line to win $1 million and got to sit out, right? Like, but I wonder how much the team series now for him being on the the team series where they're got a guaranteed check. Like, it's to see guys like Kimsey and a bunch of those top dogs, they're all declaring in the draft now, to where those guys are buying in now. So
yeah, like
I don't know, it's interesting.
yeah, there'll be some new. Yeah, Sage Kimsey getting in that draft's going to be probably the #1 pick, I would think. I don't know who else you're going to go really after at the top of the line, but be some new up and comers. Should be interesting. Lots of money for grabs, I'm guessing, for the top dogs. Anyway,
What are your thoughts on? I kind of was trying to get at a bit of a comparison where what are the top awards that are on your list now and the top places you want to get to? Like, obviously in Canada, Ponoka, CFR, Calgary are probably top 3. In the US now, taking on a few different things and going to some of the Northwest rodeos. But like, I guess NFR is still probably the #1, because I'm it seems like the PBR is on the world final side is a little bit less of a thing now, because it doesn't really fit when it's May compared to the November. Like, it was just so much easier in November in Vegas.
no, yeah, the May thing is hard for our program. Our bulls are still basically not docile this time of year. They're not really on their top A game because they've been sitting for so long all winter. Now we're trying to make them finals. They don't buck as hard, I don't think. So at the end of the day, it's not really good for that. The NFR is probably the #1 to get to, probably also the hardest one to get to. It's like, if you can get 1 or 2 bulls there, you're actually doing all right. Like, it's come so, like, the days of having 8 or 10 there is definitely over. There's so many contractors in the States now. It's really a tough deal to get to, for sure. And it does help. We got that Northwest run. We go to, start at Kennewick. We jump over to Ellensburg, then Puyallup, and then we finish off at Pendleton. So that's been a good avenue for us to get those last late rodeos showcased for our animals to get the NFR. Really works out well. That September run fits in for that, for sure. But still, at the end of the day, we only got 2 bulls there last year, so hopefully we get a few more, but you never know. It's tough gig to get to.
You hear stories, I don't know if it's maybe more on the horse side, Nansen, but of contractors directly marketing to contestants going to the NFR, sending them videos or notes on their horses. I don't know if that goes on the bull side, but I don't really think that's your style. So is it hard to just sit back and let them bulls speak for themselves and hope they get noticed? Just knowing with what's on the line.
Yeah, it's the same old thing it goes. They bucked hard at the start of the year, and then you always want to end with a strong finish too. So they got to do that to get there. But yeah, we do have to send videos to the NFR saying that got to submit 3 videos from each animal that they profile, they look at before they pick the animal. With it, the director does pick them, but then they got to go through another avenue of Las Vegas events that oversees everything to make sure it's all right and legit. So it's a lot more work for us because we have to have all these videos lined up through the year and have to tell exactly where they've bucked. They have 8 shows under their belt to even qualify for it, 8 plus, and then comes with 3 videos, and it costs us money to send the videos to the NFR per animal. So it's definitely, like I said, it's harder to get there than any show we go to all year. And
But
it
it
pays
also
the
pays
best
the
too,
best
so
too. Yeah.
yes.
Isn't it like a smooth 10,000 animal US?
Yeah, it's right around 10 US. Yeah.
What does it look like from the time you'd have a bull selected? Can you just talk through everything that would go on from that point for maybe how you treat that animal, vet checks and paperwork, transport, getting there and until they buck at the NFR?
Yeah, so once they're selected, they do the CFR, then we kind of try to rest them and get them prepared for that long trip to Vegas. Not much goes on for the fact of anything different at home for feed wise and stuff. Just kind of make sure they're not getting sore. Just keep them kind of in shape as best we can. It's a long trip. I think we take 2 stops to get down there on the way there, and then roll in early that afternoon on the week. It's 6 days before the event even starts, or 7 days before. So we're there for quite a while prior. Then the whole 10 days. So it's a 2.5 week process at the end, and it's not very. I don't know. Weather can be tricky for them down there. It can be really hot, or actually pretty cold. But some bulls can't handle that being off their main program for that long and do very well with it. And some do. Horses are a little bit easier, I think, for the most part. But last year we had 2 selected, and one ended up making it because he got hurt before he got to go down there, so we had to pull him out last minute, which was terrible. But yeah, gotta have the right bull that can handle that kind of a stressful encounter for that whole 2-3 week ordeal. And some you'll notice that don't handle it worth of shit, really, at the end of the day.
Is it true that you don't see that bull other than when it's in the chute?
You're allowed to go visit or see the stock and do what you want with them really in the morning till I think 9 or 10 o'clock. And after that, you're supposed to kind of be out of there and not really around the whole situation. They feed them, water them, exercise them. They chase them over to the building. That's one thing that's nice about Vegas is they don't have to haul them anywhere. They just have to chase them down the alleys up into the back pins there, which is good. I think compared to we went to Texas, they had to haul everything over there from the stock grounds, which is kind of can be more of a wreck waiting to happen kind of thing with those kind of animals, because it's more chance of getting hurt, right? And more stress mixed in the mix. So yeah, Vegas it's a nice spot, but a little stressful at the same time.
What are some of the most memorable rides overall? I want to get into that before we wrap it up. The Burks ride on Slash, Lonnie on Hard Not to Get last year in Panoka, and Cooper's Comet, some of the NFL rounds. But what else sticks out to you? And is it maybe a ride that wasn't on one of your bulls? What are you've been to so many events over the last decade and a bit. What are the ones that stand out to you and why?
Geez, Ted, I don't know. I have to think about that for a while. There was always some good rides at Stavely. I remember Tanner Gerlett's getting on, I think it was his own bull at the time, was 90 some points there. I think he won that event 3 years in a row or 2 for sure.
Yeah. That was the black kind of
black.
bull.
We talked about this about 2 weeks ago too, and I forgot the name.
Mr.
Again,
Echo.
we were
Mr. Echo.
Mr. Echo. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I think he rode, was it Igor Finkelstiff? Remember that bull of Kelly's?
I don't remember that one. That was before my time.
I remember that bull.
Yeah, I think he was 90 some points on that bull. Yeah. That was a bull of No, it wasn't Ellie's. That was Ellie's, not Kelly's. Sorry, Scory Bowl.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
Rides like that. I know there's been some good ones over the years, but I can't really think that's picked out anything lately or even over the years. Yeah, you're putting me on the spot, Ted. I don't even know.
That's okay. We can revisit that another time too. I was just kind of curious if anything really stood out, but like, cause you see so many rides, like I just wondered like what stands out. But like that ride Alani's last year was unreal. Like he should have been like 93 or 4 that day. That was so badass in the 4 round.
That was a good finish to the
unreal.
rodeo too. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what I want to get back to actually. So, but one more thing on this. Some of the accolades. Like, what are some of the most memorable trophies and trinkets and awards and buckles? And is it the Stock Contractor of the Year thing in the PBR Canada? Is it the Contractor of the Year with Wayne as well in the CPRA? Is it missing out on Calgary? You said that was still on the list. Where does maybe a bull of the NFR someday could be a reality? What stands out?
For
what's
me,
still on the list?
Well, Cooper's Comet won Bowl of the Year in 2013. Still wearing that buckle. That's the one I wear all the time.
Oh, really?
2016. Okay. Yeah, that's the one I keep on my belt everywhere I go. Yeah, that's the one we wear. That's the one I'm most proud of. I think that one stays with me. So that's the one that really sticks out in my mind. And you got Bull of the Year in the CPRA. I think you got Bull of the Year at the same year in the PBR as well. So
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one for me for sure.
It's very fitting, isn't it? It kind of
I
want to go back to Ponoka in the PBR side of things. So talk about just kind of how that event has become what it is, and like we talked about event of the year now, but like that. So the Ponoka Stampede, it's a traditional rodeo. I think we can safely say it's a traditional rodeo, right? So adding the PBR in is a totally different piece of the puzzle, and I got to work Ponoka the whole rodeo last year, but the highlight for me was the PBR that night. It was just so just the show for what I do and the energy and bringing it up and having the pyro, like it was a totally different feel than the rest of the whole week, right? Like, but I got to ask you, how did you convince everybody to do that, and or who did, and how did it come to be? Because it's the most well attended PBR one night PBR event in the country now. Like there's over 10,000 people at that thing, and we got them all singing along last year. Like it was unbelievable. It was such a cool event.
Yeah, Ponoka's always thought outside the box in more cases than not, compared to lots of rodeos in Alberta, Canada, or whatever you want to say. They've always strived to be the biggest and find new avenues to get there, whether it's with concerts. The wagons are a big part of it. Best stock in the world. And when that come up, to have it there, they did put their back behind it, which is good to see, and they got what they needed to get. Lots of support from the sponsorships, sponsors, and building that new grandstand there with all the suites and stuff. That really was an easy sell, something they haven't seen before. More loud, like you said, the pyro and the loud music, and there was a good push. Like we did it before, but it never worked out for having it involved with the Stampede. We always kicked it off, like say the weekend before the Stampede started. Like it was always top of Wainwright usually, and the people weren't in town yet. So once we did it in transition with their event, it just was a good mix, and it's gonna, I think, keep growing. And we'll try to get more prize money added and get better rider. We had at one time we had 40,000 added there at that bull riding.
Yeah.
But then it never really couldn't get the people to come till they were already there. That's when it really took off.
And it wasn't a huge deal to start it later. Like it was a really long day, really long night. With the PBR didn't start till probably I don't think we started till 8:45 or something, like maybe 9. But the lights, we need some more lights this year. Actually, we need to get that sorted out. Need a bit more light closer by the shoots. Yeah. But like just the electricity there and the atmosphere is so neat. But then the other thing too is like on the Calcutta side, you got like a $70,000 Calcutta right in the middle of it. We just got to figure out how to keep the crowd kind of really.
Well, I think it was even it was 130,000 head. I think it was average.
Holy shit!
Over 10,000 head or $10,000, and the winner took home like 85,000.
Oh my gosh!
30%. It was the biggest Calcutta we've ever seen.
Unreal.
And I've been doing Calcuttas for a long time. Like Stavely's always the high one, but this one even blew that out of the water, which was crazy.
Yeah. The only one
Stavely's always done well.
The only one is behind now is Pollockville, but you don't go to that one.
Yeah, Pollockville is another user. Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so I don't know. That was one of the coolest events we did all year last year. I thought it was so badass.
Yeah, so if it continues and it's gonna be good. Yeah. We're
hopefully.
excited. We got a big band coming up again that night. And it's like you said, it's a full day for sure.
Yeah.
But people want to party and get at it. That's the night to do it.
Yeah. Well, in that one in 2021 was like how many records didn't they set a whole bunch of records as far as like beer sales and just like attendance and like some kind of crazy. It was like the second or maybe the biggest day ever for beer sales, but then it was the second or third for attendance or something behind like a Keith Urban. Like it's such a major
Keith Urban was number one. Yeah. So that's pretty good coming off a COVID year and
100%.
Putting that it was a kind of a last minute thing at the end of the day, and it all worked out really well.
True.
But people were wanting to get out and get after it by that point. They were sick of being cooped up.
Speaking of getting after it, I want to go back to Stavely and how last year I had a few too many extracurriculars and kind of got out of hand. It was quite the fun place though. You remember that in the shop party at Brad's house? Remember how messed up?
Oh yeah. You might have a little friend in your pocket that night that had some extra potion for you.
So a little bit of psilocybin. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about
kind of all things.
What are you drinking? What's your go-to now?
Oh, I'm off the Bud Light. My wife's not. She doesn't give a shit about the whole tranny episode, but I'm more of a Pendleton whiskey guy anyway. But
okay,
I'll drink some twisted teas and maybe stay away from the beer for a while. I don't know.
Fair.
You?
Me? What am I into? I drank some Belgian Moon yesterday. I drank some spiced rum. I drank some whiskey, some tequila. I felt fucking awful today. We had a meeting this morning and I was just like, I had
what's today? Today's Monday. When's Wednesday or Tuesday? What are you doing drinking on a Monday? Just
my birthday. This is my birthday.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Partying. Yeah, and yours was on Saturday.
And the hockey game.
Yeah.
We
I don't want to talk about the hockey game.
No.
Did you go to the hockey game?
Yeah, we were there last night. Yeah, it was shit. It's fucking poor.
That's gonna be a dead zone there. That would be sucky.
Oh, it was terrible. Like I was so pumped when we got there, and then they scored the first goal. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're gonna win this one. And then all of a sudden, just what is going on?
Just
awful.
No, wasn't them. It was terrible.
Oh.
I quit watching after the second period. So yeah,
we were there. It's like it's rude not to, but like yeah, people were leaving. It was sad. It was a sad episode. Not great. But,
yeah, go Edmonton, go. They're gonna get it done though. I think we'll see.
I think they'll come back again, just like they came back after the first game. But what else? What else you got, Sean? Anything else, or should we wrap it up here?
Do you want to get into the kidnapping fiasco?
Oh yeah. Okay, so Nansen, there's a crazy story about your dad getting kidnapped and held up for a ransom in Ponoka. You got to tell us the whole
It's a true story.
Yeah,
it's a true
story. On the news. It's legit.
Oh, fucking wild story.
Yeah, one of those days, just go to work and my father's not there, which is not out of the normal. Sometimes he doesn't come till noon or whatever. But got getting some weird phone calls. He was phoning into our secretary at the time, asking weird questions about money and if we can get some cash out because he's got to pay for some land deposit or something. He was bullshitting her or whatever, and she legitimately had to go down to the bank and try to get cash out, not knowing what was going on because he couldn't really say what was going on. He's got a gun pointed at him in a vehicle that they picked him up in his. Have you been to my dad's place? Probably not. It's out of,
I don't think so.
Back in the trees, kind of long driveway with covered trees everywhere, and the guy pulled the top barbed wire fence off and pulled it across the lane. So he had to get out of the vehicle to take it down to go by, right? So he does that, and that's when the guy comes out of the bush with the gun and throws him in his car and takes off. And yeah, it was quite the deal for him, as it took, I think, 3 hours before he got out of there. They held him around to a couple banks, trying to get cash out. And then he somehow, while he's in the bank with his bank card, got out of the rope they had around his hands, pulled off the mask that they threw over his head, like the pillowcase, and got out running towards the closest gas station, which I think was what was it? Mohawk in Lacombe is where they picked him up at.
Oh, geez.
And the guy fled for another, what, 3-4 days
No way.
before they caught him? Yeah.
What kind of fucking idiot ties somebody up with rope? Like, what year is it?
Yeah, so he was pretty stressed out with the whole situation. It really took a toll on him for a while, which I can imagine with anybody when you got a gun pointed at you and threatening with your life. And then with the funny, not the funny part, but one of the parts the cops told our whole family, maybe not stay at your place, kind of go with relatives or friends and kind of don't hang out till we get this guy caught. And no joke that this guy lived 4 doors down from Jen's, my wife's parents' place in town.
No way.
And we end up staying there at her parents' place while this is all going on for the almost half or weekend or 4 or 5 days that it took to get him caught. But yeah, it's a crazy story. It still blows my mind that it even happened, that kind of shit goes on, especially a small town, Ponoka. I think the guy just lost his job and didn't tell his wife, and he had payments coming out that he couldn't cover. And I guess he went to the extreme to try to get some that way. Some crazy guy that needed cash, and that's the best avenue to go at it.
Holy.
Because my dad had guys staying at the place where he lives at, and they left before him because they had stayed in the cabin that we have on the place in the back. And there was a log on the road, and that wire that I mentioned was across the way of the road, and they moved it. Phoned my dad before he left the house, saying there's some guy playing a joke on you up here, just be careful. And then he sure as shit drove back out there, and it's back across the road again. And that's when the guy come out and got him. So it's nuts.
Jeez.
So we were a little freaked out for a while there because we were getting cops showing up at the market, and because it got word that he was kidnapped because it got out, and then it kind of went crazy there for about 3-4 hours.
Holy shit. When did you see him? Or was he like, what happened to him once he got out by the gas station? Hopefully the gas station guys,
they called 911 right there, and then we didn't go pick him up. We met him back at his place, because he had to go through all the steps with the cops of what went on, and
yeah,
we kind of just there for support at the end.
Did Blair know who he was?
Well, actually, my wife's friends, because they found him on the cameras at the bank with his glasses and toque on, and one of my wife's friends picked him out as some people that they knew in town. Yeah, like that. That's how they caught him. Was my wife's girlfriend picked him out on the news report or whatever.
Jeez, that is wild.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts, no question about it. But we can laugh at it now a little bit. It was kind of crazy story that we can tell our grandkids and kids and stuff, I guess.
Something like that podcast does not happen in Canada much at all, I would bet. Like, that is such a...
No, I never hear of it. But the scary part is, what if he wouldn't have got away? What would have happened?
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how serious this guy was and stuff, how crazy he was. So it's just fortunate that he got out of there when he did. Yeah. He'll probably kill me for telling that story, but that's fine.
Well, he told it on the news, so it's not like it's
in the public domain.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a story that's not out there in some capacity. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
How's your dad doing, Nansen?
Good. He had a little trouble he had some cancer scare there and got that kind of beat, and then it kind of came back. He's still carrying it. He had some in his spine, but he's doing well. He spayed all summer in the States, and he's back now, and we're seen him yesterday actually, so he's doing fine.
Okay, good deal.
Kicking. Yeah, he'll be at the Stampede for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, good news. Well, Shaun, if you don't have anything else, let's ask the last question and call her good.
Yeah, well, if I'm attempting to fill Wasey's shoes, I'll just ask you, Nansen, what is your definition of cowboy shit?
Cowboy what? No. Cowboy shit. Cowboy shit. That is the definition of being a true cowboy, that I guess you don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks of you, kind of thing. That's my definition of it.
Well, and I gotta say that I think some of it has to do with we never even got into the family side of things, but you guys are all on the road all summer, and you get to be together all summer, where a lot of folks work at a job in the office, or they're here, they got to travel and do whatever. But I think it's pretty special. You guys get to be as a family all the time and get to travel like that. And Jaden, with where he's at with things right now, and he's got a few of his own bulls now too, right? He's very
involved. Yeah, he's got some pretty good bulls that he gets to beat around the year with, and doing very well that way. Got a good start, a good jump on the game. That's what you could kind of say. Like we're doing cowboy shit all year long, really, with the family and hanging out with the guys, and it's a great atmosphere to be a part of. I couldn't change it for nothing, really. We see so many people. Like when COVID hit, it really took a toll on what we did for a living, and to bounce back from that and hopefully keep it going where we left off is been a toll, but it's been very good and couldn't be happier at the moment. So yeah.
Well, and you've got kind of like a huge chunk of the business in the country now too, besides like taking on and buying the outlaw side of things, outlaw buckers, and like you'd have like how many bull trips would you have in a year now? Like would it be like would it be more than 1,000?
That's my wife's question. We got a lot of I don't know. We have I think we got 100, but Jake does all the number count first round here. Wilson, he's been with us now for I don't know 2 years since basically once COVID kind of got over, we kind of went back at it. Jake kind of come on board. And I got bigger with Outlaw selling out, bought all that stuff, been busy with the steel. I think there's 150 bulls that can, go in the truck here at home, give or take, and then a bunch of young stock from yearlings to 3-year-olds, right? So we're not short of animals in any case of the means. And cows are calving right now too, so we're busy doing that and waiting for once June hits, we're kind of full bore, right? So we're kind of baby steps in May, and then June hits, we're going 4 different directions at once. So
what's the winter like now? Like this is kind of rest and recovery and recuperation for the, from the January to essentially kind of now, I guess, really. There's not a lot that goes on up here for us those kind of months, but you went down south for that kind of few week stretch too in April, I guess. But
yeah, and I'd like to maybe do a few more winter rodeos, but I don't know. I've heard guys, it's just to go down there and you got to have a spot, that you can go lay at, right? You can't just go travel around down there for a month and kind of keep staying here, staying there. It'd be nice to have a spot like say in Oklahoma to kind of lay low for the month or two and then come back to Alberta and keep going in the spring. But we did the spring run, at the PBR for 4 events and then come home for this now, and then we'll go back down in August, September. So it's a good mix. It's a good time to have a break too. Like we need a break after NFR is kind of the last kick at the cat, and it's good to have a good couple months off, get the bulls kind of rested up, and got to come home and haul feed and straw. We got a fortunate neighbor here that feeds solids for us every day, which is a real godsend. Kind of keeps that in line. We still got to feed grain and feed your horses, and we got a few bucking horses around here too. So it's a full chore day for sure.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, we appreciate you doing this, Nansen. Thanks for making it work on short notice, and thanks for sharing the stories. I think we could talk more bloodlines and bulls for hours, but
for hours.
Yeah, we could do so much more, but this has been awesome time. Thanks for sharing with us. Yeah,
not a problem, Ted. Thanks, Shaun. You bet.
One more thing. Who are we looking for this year in the bullpen? Who are we looking to watch for, and who's standing out?
The bullpen. I guess we're gonna see. I think Deep Creek will be up in the short rounds. One to look at for both rodeo and PBR. Haunted Hotel will be another one. He's a 5-year-old this year that's really showcased well down the States. They're probably the 2 standouts. There is some younger bulls too that really haven't got a whole lot of rider trips on that look very promising. Like that Chosen, that little Hereford that come from Prescott's. He'll be another one to definitely be watching. So we're very excited. There's lots of potential there, definitely coming forward. So, but that one of my picks. I think Deep Creek will be one of the most solid bulls you'll see from our pen for a new one, anyway.
I meant to ask this earlier too, but how are you deciding who's staying or going in for what you sell? And what's the deciding factor now? Like if you can sell one for $100,000 a year, like it's a pretty nice bonus to kind of make things really work. Because otherwise, like it's just a matter of sheer trips and animals, like to make the margins work, to make it a profitable venture. But like being able to sell one, like what is the deciding factor now to let one go? Where before you kept Slash and he was the foundation of the program and got you on the map, but now how are you deciding? Is it one that like he's just not going to be able to be ridden up here much? Like a Canadian Mist, you're like, yeah, like he's a 46 point bull, like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, if we can find one of them, which is easier said than done, but money does talk. Right? There's a stupid amount of number that's going to come forward. We'll definitely consider it, but been looking more at the avenue of selling our mediocre bulls that will still work for up here. I've sold quite a few over to Quebec, Ontario this last spring, and I think we're going to go with that avenue. Joey Tardif and another guy out there that's in Ontario is picking up something. He's going to do the London event with us. I sold some bulls to him over there, so he's going to help us out there with what I sent over to him. So yeah, it has to be a pretty crazy number anymore because we're going to try to keep that top end bulls around for a change. Maybe try that avenue and kind of sell some bottom end ones, get rid of more of them. So
Okay.
see what happens. But yeah, we're excited for keeping some stuff around for a change. But we've always kind of sold our top end off for every year, so it's
Yeah.
see what shakes out.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, we appreciate this, and
Yeah.
I glad to call you a friend and be able to work with you every few weeks or every weekend in the busy times. So thanks for
Yeah,
taking
we'll
the
see
time.
you in GP then, I guess, eh?
Yeah, you betcha. Yeah. Actually, no, Brandon. If you're going to Brandon, I'll be there too.
No, I won't be there.
Won't be there. Okay. GP it is. See you there. Awesome. We look forward to it. We'll make sure to stay tuned if you're out there and interested in the bull business. Give Nansen a shout. Nansen Vold, once again, our guest today, part of the Wayne Vold rodeo crew and taking bulls across the country from you've been from Abbotsford to Halifax, probably on the PBR tours and those different shows, and from
in Canada,
from here to Texas and back. So Vegas, different times. So yeah, thanks, Nansen. This was awesome.
Thanks, Nansen.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
Run away with me. Lost soul to reverie. Running wild and running free. Two kids, you and me. And I say, hey, live it like we're renegades. Hey, live it like we're renegades.
All right, we're back with the second half, the third half, I guess you want to call it that, with a third of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wasey. I'm Ted, he's Wasey. And just want to throw another thanks out to Nansen Vold for taking the time to chat with us. It was, like Ted said, it was last minute, but cool to sit down with. And he's Nansen's made a really good name for himself in the bucking bull industry as a whole, not only in Canada. So cool to see them having the success that they've been having, and what a cool show. And like you mentioned before we jumped in the interview, Ted, you guys were talking about kind of how the PBR finals structured now and the PBR season, and how it's kind of like, I don't know, in my opinion, it's kind of diluted the prestige, or like what makes the PBR World Finals what it is kind of gone now since it's moved to this new structure. And like you guys talked about with Nansen, it has an effect on the stock contractors too. So I don't know what we do from here.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing on the bull side is that, well, overall number one, I think the team series has devalued the world title race. So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's devalued it because there's way more competition now, and then there's no off season. The off season got even shorter, which I don't think is good for bull riding. The NFL is one of the hardest. What do you call it? It's one of the toughest, toughest sport on a person's body, and it's
and they play once a week.
Yeah, they play once a week, and they like one game, which one game is probably the equivalent of I don't know, a weekend of bull riding, like four bull rides, like the average competition of four bull rides, so whatever. But then before their Super Bowl, they got a week off. They get like a weekend off. They don't have 2 weekends of competition. And I think bull riding is probably harder on people. There's not many people that died playing football in action. One guy tried to die last year, like Damar Hamlin, right? Like he tried, like almost died, but it was from the the hit right by the heart. I forget what the name of it is. I don't know what it is. I don't want to mess it up. But anyways, there needs to be a fucking off season in bull riding, especially these guys. They're the leaders. But they don't want to give up these events in the major towns where they have all the things. Like they don't want to give up the Billings, and they don't want to give up the the New York City
MSGs
events.
Yeah.
So I think they have to figure out how to
It's kind of it's a
incorporate.
tough spot.
It's a tough spot, but I think they have to figure out how to incorporate those major
Mhm.
established venues with major events for the team series, or else make the Challenger Tour some kind of feeder system with those events. But then you want to dilute it because you can't take like a B-level bull riding into MSG. So
No, you
there's
gotta.
some work to do.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm. It just seems like from a fan perspective, I've never been less engaged with the PBR World Title race than I have been this season, right? And it
Mhm.
seems like even the marketing of it, it's you hardly see anything on the actual regular season stuff. They're still even talking about teams and that always finds its way to the top in the front of mind of people. So maybe that's by design on their end, but it
Yeah,
just
maybe that's
seems
the
like
plan.
it's just not what it used to be, which is kind of a disappointment. And I mean, it's good that the teams thing has been doing okay, I guess, from a standpoint, and it's like something new. But I think what's made bull riding standalone bull riding events popular and what they are today, they've kind of drifted away from that at this point. That kind
Yeah.
of sucks. And even like losing your world number one before the event even starts, like that
Mhm.
sucks too, right? So
But
I don't know.
he's probably less worried and less concerned about trying to ride at this finals for $1 million now. When he can make $500,000, it's kind of almost guaranteed money. I don't know what his contract is.
Yeah,
Like with Sage Kimsey, I think, well, who is it? Is it Sage Kimsey and Josh Frost and who else? Like a lot of the major guys in the PRCA are now declaring for the teams draft. The PBR. I haven't
Mhm.
paid too close attention to it, but I'm pretty sure Sage is in the draft. So he'll probably be I would expect like a number one or number two pick. I'm guessing.
For sure.
I would
Yeah,
expect
yeah.
so if he's declared himself to go in this draft. So,
Mhm.
but anyways, I think number two though on the side of it is it's been a huge, there's huge investment on the bull side of things, but there will be less investment now because the world title race is lessened, I think, in the PBR, and it's weird timing on the seasons, especially for Canadian bucking bulls, because our bulls haven't gone anywhere yet. Like they've been to like one or two
They're
events.
just
So
coming out of winter, man. They're not
yeah,
in
not
peak shape.
in shape. Where in November they are, right? So,
Hmm.
anyways, number two though, yeah, it devalues the bulls because the bulls aren't even hardly thought of on the team side of things. Like I don't even know if they mention hardly what they are. It's more about just the team and the guy and the score.
Yeah,
And
and the way the pens are
lead.
set up, they're setting them up to be more rides. Like it's not like you're
Yeah,
bringing
mostly
your
shit.
A level bulls, right? Which is how it should be
Yeah,
for sure. But you're not bringing the Whoopas and the world
no,
title contender bulls to those team
those
events,
events.
right?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense now. Uh, so yeah, I think that you'll see a lot less investment on the bull side, and you might see them go back to the PRCA. But the problem with the PRCA is that you gotta have a card, and the card
Hmm.
costs way too much money. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what the next move is, but I hope that teams really works, and maybe there's it's. I hope the teams works, and I hope that the world title race goes to the rider in the teams event that rides the most bulls or has the MVP of the league is the world champion. That I think that could just be the move it over, really flip it on its head, and just I don't think they abolish the world title race, but I think that I think they got to have an off season, and I think they have to. Uh, what am I trying to say? They got to have an off season, and they have to. But they also have to keep those big events. But I think you have a pretty kick-ass teams event in MSG too.
For sure, and especially if you got like healthy top end bull riders going to, like you say. So I think the structure of how it is now needs to kind of be reevaluated because your top guys are going to be hurt all the time, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways,
I'm with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
So,
What
just
else you got?
one last point to hit, I guess, is we're heading into May Long, and we figured we'd revive one of our favorite May Long promos. The fan favorite Waste Ted promo code is coming at you
I'm
this
wasting his
weekend.
Ted.
I'm Ted. He's Wacy. And yeah, you can this weekend you can use the promo code WasteTed to save 50% on your favorite cowboy shit items. So be on the lookout for that. But for those of you who heard it here first,
Go get it.
you know what's up. Go get it. Get it happening. Spring's coming, so you're gonna need some new fresh cowboy shit gear to be looking good this summer at all the events. So
Maybe a monument.
maybe a monument. And for those who say that like hoodie season is over, I've never been spent a summer night in Alberta. So
They're wrong.
they are wrong.
Oh, maybe if
So-
you're from Texas, you need to buy a t-shirt. But
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up, Teddy. I think we've hit everything on the list, and
works
it's
for me.
about bedtime for you over there across the pond. So
Pretty close. I'm hoping that WestJet doesn't go on strike so I can get home on Saturday. If not, I'll see you eventually.
I'll see you when I see you, brother.
Yeah, I got a lot of flights booked with WestJet. They better figure that shit out.
Man, you're like a double platinum member of WestJet now.
Boy,
So
I hope they don't fuck that up.
I'm sure they'll get it sorted out. But
I
yeah,
hope so.
enjoy the rest of your trip, man. Thanks for making
thanks.
this happen.
Talk
Play
to
some
you.
good golf. Say hi to the fellas. Have some scotch. Have some Guinness. I guess you're not in Ireland, but
I've had lots of Guinness. I like Guinness.
How's the beer? How's the beer over there?
Great. I'm a big fan of Guinness. We had plenty of Camden Hells lager in London. It's pretty solid. Yeah, I've mostly been on the Scotch and the old fashions and the Guinness. It's been good.
Right on, buddy. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll enjoy the trip and we'll touch base when you get back. But
Gotcha.
thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on social media at Cowboy Shit Official. Kind of anywhere you want to find us, we'll be there. And don't be afraid to let us know who you want to see on the show or what you want to hear. We love covering all that kind of stuff. So we will shoot us a message or whatever you think. But yeah, this has been episode 143 of Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wasey. I'm Ted, he's Wasey, and we'll check you for episode 143.